Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Seamus Hoyne, and I'm the Development Manager in Limerick Institute of Technology. Well, in fact, I have two jobs in LIT at the minute. I'm the Development Manager, and I'm also Dean of Flexible and Work-Based Learning in LIT. And so thanks for joining us today. So we're going to spend about the next hour and a half just taking you through the EMwoSE project and the outcomes from that work. And we're delighted that we've been joined by a number of our participants that worked with Marie Taylor, who I'll introduce in a minute, in putting the resources and information together on the project. We will be recording this and making it available. If you prefer not to be recorded, you can make sure to leave your video turned off. And the chat function will be used for any questions. And we will have some Q&A time at the end as well, towards the end. So I'm briefly just going to introduce the development unit to you. And I suppose our focus in the development unit in LIT is around the whole area of sustainability. We focus across the areas of sustainable energy, climate change, social enterprise, and rural development. And also growing activity in the area of using technology for positive change across the whole area of sustainability. So we've grown from 2011, when the development unit was first established, to have 28 staff, about 20 full-time equivalents working across over 30 projects at this stage across those 5 areas that we've spoken about. We have a mixture of a multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary team, including engineers, architects, scientists, administration, and expertise in humanities and business as well. And we work significantly with a large number of European partners. So we have about 150 partners all across Europe that we partner with on various projects. We do have a mix. So we're part of the research, development and innovation function within LIT. Excuse me. So Liam Brown, who's on the top photograph there, is our Vice President of Research and Development. To his right is Paddy Murray, is our Head of Research. Myself, Development Manager, and Gillian Barry is Head of Enterprise and Innovation. And missing from the photographs there is John Cosgrove, who's our Head of Graduate Studies, recently appointed. And he is responsible for all of our postgraduate students. So we have close to 200 postgraduate students, masters and PhD students at the moment. That's the development team. So we're primarily based out of the Thurles office when we are in our offices, so pre-COVID times, and hopefully soon enough we'll be back in our offices. And I suppose the team is growing, and I suppose being part of the Thurles campus, we have a particular focus on sustainability across the entire campus. So I suppose why social enterprise in particular? I suppose we see social enterprise as a growing area and an opportunity for us to make a significant difference in the region. And it links clearly with the whole area of the social sciences, but also with the whole area of enterprise and innovation. And social enterprises are a growing phenomenon, not just in Ireland, but across Europe. And we've been conducting research and engaging with social enterprises for the last number of years across a whole range of different projects. And in fact, there are connections between the work we do on social enterprise with other areas. For example, there are many social enterprises that operate in the environmental area, for example. So there are clear synergies with our work on social enterprise. And EMwoSE, I suppose, emerges from that. This is our I suppose a follow-on project from a number of different other projects we've done in the whole area of social enterprise, and you can see information on those projects on the LIT website. So we would have done projects generally about creating training resources and capacity building materials for social enterprises, working with partners in the UK and across Europe. through the SADET project, we would have developed training resources for business advisors. So for them to be able to understand the different operating requirements of a social enterprise and what they need. And EMwoSE was a follow-on from a number of partners where we saw a growing trend where social enterprises were being led and formed and engaging with women from ethnic minorities. So we saw an opportunity to do some analysis and develop additional resources to support this particular target group in this area of social enterprise. So there's a large amount of the detail on the EMwoSE project website. The purpose of today is to get a bit more interaction and for us to be able to take you through the project. And I suppose the project has been led by Dr. Marie Taylor, who's our expert in the whole area of social enterprise. And Marie is going to take you through the project details in a few minutes. But in essence, what we were aiming for with this project was to increase the employment opportunities for women from ethnic minorities, and particularly focused on the opportunities within social enterprise. And to do that by increasing their knowledge and skills within the field so that they could understand how to own, operate, or be an employee within a social enterprise. And then we started to look at what are the particular challenges, what are the gaps, and developing resources to respond to that. So I'm going to hand over to Marie now, who's going to take you through the project. And most of the projects that we work on in the social enterprise have a standard structure where we do some background research to find out what the gaps are. Then we develop training and capacity building resources to respond to those. And then we roll out those materials and test them, and then we make them available freely to people who are interested. So all the resources that we will present today are freely available, open source, so for you to use and access at any stage. So I'm going to hand back control to Marie now, and she'll take you through the next stages.
Lovely. Thanks a million, Seamus, for that. And good morning, everybody. And thank you for joining us today. And I'm delighted to be able to go through the EMwoSE project with you today, the outcomes and the key findings of it. It's been a fantastic project to be involved in, is because of the women I've met, and also because of the resources that we have created that I hope and I'm sure will help future women as well in their social enterprise journey. So what I want to do today is just go through some of the key findings. And really we had 4 objectives through the EMwoSE project. One was to develop a state-of-the-art report and literature review. So the literature review was based on desktop research that was conducted by the partners on what was already out there in terms of help for women from ethnic minorities that want to be involved in social enterprise, and also a background on some of the challenges and that they have faced, and also some of the skills that they might require. So that was the background research. And then we did a state-of-the-art report based on surveys that we conducted for the women and also organizations that are involved in social enterprises. So the findings of that state-of-the-art report is what I'm going to go through now in the next few minutes. We also developed a storytelling library. And this is a fantastic resource because this is where the women themselves get to speak about their experiences. And we all know how powerful storytelling can be. And to hear the women speak about their own stories, the challenges they faced, but also the successes they've had and their experience along the way. It's really inspiring for future people who want to engage in social enterprise. We also created learning resources, and this is open to everybody, as Seamus has outlined, and can be used by women from ethnic minorities, but also by organizations or educators who support women in social enterprise. So it is a fantastic resource, and we are delighted to be able to make that available. And it's available through the e-learning platform or the Moodle, and we'll go through that at the end as well, so that you'll know how to access that platform. So just to start then, we'll go through the key findings that we have from the survey. So as I said, we did, first of all, we did a desktop literature review to find out what was already established in this area. So that is available on our EMwoSE website. You can see the web link there on screen, and it's available in all the languages of the partner countries. So we surveyed two cohorts. We surveyed women themselves from ethnic minorities who may have founded or managers of social enterprises, or who indeed work in social enterprises. And the other cohort that we also surveyed were the organizations or agencies, or as we term them, the experts who support people in social enterprise, and sometimes specifically who support women. And so they were the two cohorts that we surveyed. The surveys were similar questions so that we could compare and contrast. So some of the questions we asked really were, what are the main challenges that were experienced by the women from ethnic minorities in accessing and working in the labour market? What would be some of the training needs that they think that they could benefit from? What would be some of the barriers in terms of accessing work? What would be some of the business skills or social skills that would be acquired? And also some of the support strategies and policies that might help to empower the women from ethnic minorities. So just quickly then to go through the results. So overall, 107 female social entrepreneurs were surveyed, and also, as I said, experts from organizations who work with this cohort. We had two surveys were developed by the project partners, and the project partners were ourselves, LIT in Ireland, and we also have partners in the UK, Germany, Greece, Italy, Lithuania, and Turkey. So the majority of the participants, those who answered the surveys, were in the 25 to 55 age group. What made it different to the literature review findings was that most of the women that we surveyed had very high education levels. So they had education levels ranging from secondary education to undergraduate or the equivalent. So that was is quite a difference to what you see in the literature review. Around 80% worked in the social enterprise or small to medium-sized enterprises, and 78% worked at management or public relations or accounting level department. They usually found their jobs through friends, internet, etc. And networking also was an important way of finding jobs. And what was interesting was that the majority of them, the reason that they were motivated to work in their area of social enterprise was because of the social impact that they wanted to develop. Also, work-life balance, flexible working hours was also quite important, and wages and salary less so. So in terms of the challenges then that were identified in the survey, there were a number of difficulties encountered by the women, including language barriers, difficulty in reaching the target group for their social enterprise, also just a general lack of interest in the social enterprise, and also traditions and attitudes towards female employment and cultural barriers, but less so. It was less of a challenge that maybe previously we would have anticipated. Other challenges then that were identified, obviously financial would have been prominent, and this supports the findings also of the literature review. Social difficulties in terms of low public awareness of the social enterprise, also social integration, etc. Cultural challenges then in terms of maybe expectations, beliefs, cultural expectations of the place of the woman in work, etc. Institutional challenges, difficult to find people like themselves that would be as motivated as themselves in the idea that they had and the values that they had. Also, access into the business sector itself was also a difficulty. And discrimination was also a factor in terms of accessing the labour market itself. But then once they were in the labour market, they also were subjected to discrimination there as well. And I think that's interesting, as this month is Anti-Discrimination Month. So it's interesting to see that that was a challenge that the women encountered. We also had an additional section on the survey for those at managerial level, just to see what the challenges that they also encountered. And I suppose naturally financial resources, or scarce financial resources, was the greatest challenge that they experienced. Insufficient employees, especially skilled employees, was also a challenge, and a lack of collaboration or networking. And that was interesting and led actually to one of the modules that we created out of this, how to create a networking and collaboration. So the women and the experts had similar opinions on the challenges faced by female social entrepreneurs. For example, both stated that finding accommodation and also suitable childcare opportunities were some of the main challenges that they encountered. Also, communication and language barriers were a difficulty. And so, in conclusion, with that difficulty, it would seem that a business can only develop and grow when other external factors like accommodation, language, and childcare support are put in place. Interestingly enough, in contradiction to the literature review, the women surveyed rated the culture of the host country or financial difficulties as less important. And as I say, that's in contradiction to what was already established in the literature review. So some of the skills also that were outlined by the women that they would benefit from could be termed or could be categorized under two types: social and business. So in terms of social, you have the intercultural skills, especially in terms of communication and competency in the language and in the host language. And also, as I said before, the networking and collaboration skills. And again, the out of that, we have developed a module on communication and marketing skills, so that it gives ideas on how to build up your communication skills. And also we have a separate module then on networking. In terms of business skills then, again, communication in terms of business language was also identified. Also in terms of creativity and innovation, how to you have an idea or you have a value that you want to impact on the environment or socially in your area, but how do you do it? How do you come up with that idea? Recognition of business opportunities and also business funding opportunities. And then also just basic business planning, day-to-day strategic goals, objectives, etc. Networking again in terms of business and research and problem solving. And again, out of that, we have developed a number of modules in terms of, for example, start your own business module. So the step-by-step guide on how to start your own business. And we also have a module on the day-to-day running of a business, and a separate module then on funding and finance, how to finance your social enterprise. Also from the survey, it was found that women from ethnic minorities contribute to the economic and social development of the region by serving those in need, by supporting the local market, by integrating vulnerable groups, and also by promoting different cultures and foods through the social enterprise activities. Therefore, by empowering women from ethnic minorities, we are also benefiting the regions and the women themselves. So in summary then, empowering women from ethnic minorities requires both improving knowledge and skills and also overcoming the fear of failure. That was also one of the findings. Also the important role of mentoring, especially mentoring by women from a similar background. So for example, women from ethnic minorities mentoring other females so that they can help them move forward in their careers and also establish that self-confidence in themselves. Also the importance of establishing networks, and also that Europe is not fully exploiting its social entrepreneurship and potential, because fewer women than men start or plan to start social enterprises. So to conclude, we need to have policies and strategies put in place to give opportunity to women from ethnic minorities to develop in social enterprises. Also, supports need to be put in place at policy level to ensure that women can reach their full potential, and that issues facing women from ethnic minority um, include racist behaviour, also the difficulty in finding suitable jobs, and the lack of suitable childcare provision, and also the language barriers or the language difficulties. And then just to finish on a positive note, the advice from the women themselves, it could be grouped under the following. The majority of them said to develop your knowledge and skills. And I suppose this is where the resources that we have developed will help help in that. Also to follow your dreams, to follow your passion, and to when you follow your passion, it makes it easier to develop. And be confident and trust yourself. And I think that was also very striking that as women, their confidence levels can be quite low, especially in terms of going into the business world. So to develop that confidence and to trust yourself, trust your to trust what you believe in and what you value, and to hold on to your purpose and to be brave and move forward, and also to network with other women, for women to help other women and not to be seen in competition or to be put down for even trying, but to encourage each other along. So that was some of the advice from the women. So that was the first part of the project, was that survey and literature review, kind of the background research, and then also surveying the women and the organizations themselves. And the next part then was storytelling library. And here, across the 7 partners across Europe, we interviewed 5 women from each country and edited down the interview to 4 minutes. And those videos are now available on the EMwoSE Storytelling Library. And again, this is a fantastic opportunity to hear the women themselves speaking about their experience and about their challenges and also their success that they have had. So I would encourage you to definitely log on to the EMwoSE website and to go into the storytelling library. There's 2 parts to it. There's the video part itself, and there's also then the transcript to the video. So you will see both. And just for example, this is the transcript section of the website. So you can see that you can log in and look at a story maybe from the UK or from Turkey or from Greece, etc. And then this is the section on the videos. And again, there's a number, nearly 30 videos that you can have a look at and see the women themselves talking about their experiences. Just to highlight some of the Irish stories that we had, this is Carol, and she has developed Putting in the Magic Pony Sanctuary, and this is a fantastic place for ponies and miniature horses. And again, it's interesting to hear her story and why she went down the path of a social enterprise rather than maybe the more obvious charity route. So it's interesting, and I would encourage you to listen to her story and see why she went down particularly the social enterprise route. And again, as she said, follow your passion, and so that you need to follow that art, and that makes it so much easier. And obviously her passion then was in helping the needs of the abandoned ponies and miniature horses. And we also had Corrine. Corrine is fantastic force of power. She's just she has many different achievements, including author of, I think she now has on her 2nd or 3rd book is lately published. And she also has developed the CAD Aid, which is an organization to help women who have been the victim of sexual abuse. And so she has changed, or she has turned her negative experience in life into a positive for other women. And it's fantastic again to hear her story. And again, she is all about women. And I suppose we're after celebrating International Women's Day, so it's important to hear her story, that she thinks that women hold the key of the world, and by empowering the women that we're helping others as well, and that women have to realize the value that they have inside themselves, and that they can do anything they put their mind to it. And again, along a similar narrative is Tulawani, again another powerful force. She has founded Her Genuity Africa, and this she talks about the triple disadvantage of being an African, of being a woman, and of being from a developing nation, but that she's changing that narrative and she's turning it around to be a positive narrative. So now she sees her finest point, and as you see in the quote there, her biggest point is the fact that she is African, that she's female, and that she's from a developing nation. So that she has turned that narrative around, and that if she's not let come to the table, then she'll win her own table to come to. And so it's a fantastic, again, I'd urge you to listen to these stories. They're fantastic examples of women in Ireland, and using the skills they have to develop social enterprises to help others. So now that they're the examples of the storytelling library that we have here, and on the EMwoSE website. And I'm going to stop talking now. You'll be glad to hear for the next few minutes. We're going to have a roundtable discussion. And I'd like to invite, we have two speakers today that I interviewed for this project. Betty Sinyon, who founded the Fighting Infectious Diseases. And again, I'll let her talk about her organization. And we also have Justina of the Polish Arts Festival. Again, one of our own from Limerick here, so that it's brilliant to have someone from Limerick talk to us as well. And also she has kindly helped out the Limerick School of Art and Design and LIT this week by talking at our event on International Women's Day on Monday. So again, two great speakers that we have here. So I'll stop sharing my screen now. And if we could, I think Betty and Justina, maybe if you would like to share your video, and we could see you then.
Okay.
And maybe if you want to unmute so that we could hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me there?
Lovely. Yes.
My is on. Yeah.
Hi, Betty.
Hi, good morning, Marie.
Lovely to see you. And Justina, are you there as well?
Yes, hello, everybody.
Hi, Justina. Lovely to see you both. And thank you so much again to both of you for agreeing to talk to us today. It's fantastic. And as I said, one of the best things about this project was meeting women like yourselves and getting that energy and vibe from you. The motivation that you have and the passion that you have for your work is fantastic. So maybe what I might do is ask a few questions. And again, just to say to everybody that if you have a question or a comment that you would like to make on the project in general, or to Justina and Betty in particular, please use the chat function, and we'd be delighted to see them. And also we'll be having a question and answer session at the very end of this presentation. So maybe if I start with you, Justina, if you'd like to outline what the Polish Arts Festival is about, and your role in it, and maybe why a social enterprise. Why did you go down that route? Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm delighted to be part of this project, and among all the beautiful, fantastic women that have chosen social enterprise. Well, I had founded Polish Arts Festival in Limerick when I had moved to Ireland, and that was partly because I missed being active culturally, and I'm a theatre practitioner myself, and working in cultural sector back in Poland. So when I came to Ireland, it was for me, it was this longing, this passion that was driving me forward, that would mate me with other women, and we've decided to start a Polish Arts Festival. So basically, the way we've done it is, when you come into a country, it's, you know, I would say there are different aspects. One aspect is if you are working in your own country. Another one is if you're working in country not of your origin. And then obviously there is a lot of barriers, and one of which would definitely be the language. So if you're very lucky enough to master the language well enough, I'd say it's way easier. But if you also have that barrier there, it might seem very daunting to even start. However, there's plenty of resources and plenty of fantastic people around. So I believe that, you know, you can, you'll be fine once you set your heart into it. So the way that I have done it, I have straight away joined the Irish Polish Cultural and Business Association, because I was looking for links. So I'd say the challenge for women is to very often where to start, or what to do, where to go, how to motivate each other, how to inspire each other. And I think the network is a very important aspect of it. So you find your network and you try to network as much as you can. So find different organizations that interest you or are of your interest. And basically, what I'd say as well is, the challenges were massive. You know, the challenges were absolutely massive, because first of all, you're in the country that you don't really quite know much about in terms of how to navigate the life here. So you're learning, obviously. You might have the theory, but the theory is just a theory, practice is a practice. So then you are a woman, okay? So I suppose being a woman can be in many ways considered that you're not serious enough, or that it's some sort of a, you know, your kind of imagined stuff, that you're not professional, that you're not, and you're very often not taken serious. However, the cultural sector, I found, is a bit different. It's there was a lot of beautiful, fantastic women that work there and that are willing to help. So it might not be that challenging. However, being from the ethnic minority obviously places you somewhere else in the queue. So I think the key here is to let people know you, and to be infectious with your ideas and who you are and what you're doing and why, and networking with the local community, with the organizations. What I have found, for example, very, very, very changing, very big milestone is when I kind of understood that we need to work with strategic partners. That Polish Arts Festival needs to be linked up with strategic partners of the city. So once I identified that, which would be for us the Hunt Museum and the Bell Table. So these were two very important relationships that we have developed. And then how do you develop that? I'd say from the very start, and I think this is working very well in Ireland, is the voluntary, just give your time to them, you know, just make yourself available, just do voluntary work, and get involved into the projects, or propose some projects and then run them. And this is how, you know, I've done it. So we've been doing a lot of voluntary work there, and like helping out with, or when there was some events, so we were proposing our activities, that we will run it, we will look after it, we will do everything. And in this way, I think you build trust, and you build credibility as a person. And that takes time. Building credibility takes time. And but it's doable, you know, if you're true to yourself, if you're passionate about it. And passion is a big thing for me, because I think if you're only doing it as a job, it's not going to work. Sooner or later, you're going to burn out. Sooner or later, you're going to be, because there's so many obstacles, there's so many challenges, that if you have no passion for it and you're doing it for any other reason, it is harder, I think. It is harder. So for many years, because I've been, that's been my voluntary as well, social entrepreneur. I've been doing that voluntary for many years, and out of my passion, just trying to do that. And now what I see is going into the direction what I always dreamed. It's going into the direction of being, considered as professional as such. So that's really amazing for me. But it took time for myself as a founder, and you know, building your group, building your network, building your team, and empower the team as well to believe in themselves, and, you know, show the best of their skills and work together to have this confidence. So if you have the confidence that, yes, I can apply for certain funding, yes, if I don't know how, I will train, I will learn, I will go to all the clinics, I will do whatever is required to learn the skill, because you do need to learn the skill if you're not coming from, let's say, the background of a professional application writer or a person that knows everything about it, you know. So my route was applying, asking for feedback, learn on the feedback, you know, and apply again and see what happens. Talk to those guys, be in touch with them, get them to know me, share my idea, share my dream, and be, you know, you might think that they are not accessible, but they are, because my thinking was, oh my God, they're definitely not accessible, and they won't even talk to me from the ethnic minority, whatever. But it's not true. Okay, so this is a myth. And if you just knock into the door, and say, hello, sooner or later those doors will open. I guarantee that. So since we spoke last year, Marie, what I have done actually is I've been applying as mad during pandemic for everything that I could have under the cultural sector. And I've decided, I've just made up my mind in terms of plenty of activities and the way that are going forward in terms of strategic planning and everything. And the outcome of it is that I have been given a yearly mentorship with the Bell Table Theatre to develop the festival and develop myself as an artist. So I have applied for that to the Arts Council, and Arts Council has granted me that funding to be able to develop. So this is amazing, because
congratulations.
Yeah, I'm actually delighted, because when we spoke back then, I was just doing what I wanted to do in terms of, you know, knowing that I have to write, I have to apply, I won't give up. COVID is the time when I have to rethink everything that is going around and take advantage of certain things that are happening, not going down, in yourself in those very challenging times, especially for minorities. As we know, COVID hasn't been an equal for everyone, you know. It's been, I think, more challenging for minorities, and with the isolation and with lack of access to the families and community, and, you know, all of that aspects. And suffice to say that, for example, for me this August, it's going to be 2 years when I haven't seen my family back in Poland, which is very hard for my kids, for my everybody around. Zoom, it doesn't do the justice, you know, at certain stage. It's okay, but, you know, so when we look at women again in those hard times, I think for women also in the whole pandemic and in social entrepreneur, it's even harder, because we bear kids. And it is expected of us to give up our careers to raise kids, you know, or it's expected of us to devote ourselves. And even if the powers in the house are somehow divided, it's always women that will be responsible and will look after everything, especially children. So looking back year back, so in even the pandemic situation, it's been extremely challenging to try to keep everybody above the water, manage the homeschooling, manage everything, and just trying to be active. The reality is that most of the women just were gone from the market totally. They just weren't able to, if that was the reality. So I'd say it's hard being a woman, but I think it's the most wonderful thing that could have happened to me. And I think it's amazing that we could be supporting each other. Mm-hmm. And the projects like that are extremely important. And I will definitely go deeply into every single story of those women, because I strongly believe that we are here to support each other. And if you have the circle of support, if you have the network, you really can overcome everything. Because even if you don't know something, somebody else will, or, you can pick somebody's brain. Or there is this saying that it needs a whole village to raise a child. So it also needs, the whole world of women to raise one woman, because you are not born one, you are become one, as Simone de Beauvoir says. So you become one. So don't take it as for granted that just because you have the body, everything is so obvious. It is not.
Yeah. I think
and
as well that Betty, you spoke about when I spoke to you last year as well, was that need for women to be there for each other, to empower each other, that's so important. Very similar to what Justina was saying there. Absolutely. So would you agree then, Betty, with that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Marie, for inviting me to this group. My name is Betty Sinyan.
It's lovely to have you, Betty.
Thank you for having me. And Justina, thank you for that. That was really profound. I think, as Justina said, it's extremely important that as women, we work together and support one another. Times have changed. We cannot do it solo. There is no way you can do well, or it will be very difficult to just do this on your own. So I have made it my mission really to reach out to other women, to work with them. And since I consciously started doing that, I have seen a big improvement in what I undertake. I have women in Ireland, in the Gambia where we work, where we're based. I reach out to other women, and women reach out to myself as well. So we can collaborate and work together. Having similar ideas, it does help a great deal. So I cannot agree more with Justina for elaborating on that. Just touching on the fact that it's really important that we support one another. It's very vital. It's very important.
And Betty, could you give us an idea maybe of what you do, what the fighting infectious disease?
Great, thank you. What we do in the Gambia is we work in the area of health and education in the rural communities of the Gambia. We mostly, my area, I started this charity with my husband, this social enterprise, in 2009. It was born out of the need to bring about much needed improvement in the rural communities, who are mostly extremely poor, uneducated. The list goes on. Girls are not sent to school because of the belief that if a girl goes to school, culturally, they will change. It's basically not beneficial for the community if girls go to school. So girls are kept at home. They're married as early as 12 years old, sometimes even younger, unfortunately. And our main aim was to go to these communities, look at the things that were not ideal for the greater good of the community, and just to try to work with them, to show them that girls going to school, it's a huge impact. I use myself as an example. I was born in Banjul, that's the capital of the Gambia. I went to school. I had two wonderful parents that encouraged me to be a better version of myself, and who encouraged me to go to school to the highest level, to be able to speak up if things were not right. And I wanted to impact girls in the rural communities that way. So when we came up with the idea of FID and a social enterprise, I thought, why not focus on the women and the girls? Because as a woman, when women are economically viable, you can see the difference. And since we started doing these projects in the rural communities, there has been a massive impact. Our women are happier. For the first time, some of them, that it's the first time they've ever been in a bank or have a bank account, and they just feel good about themselves. And they don't work in isolation, they work with other women. We work with them. They see me as an example. If I can do it, my parents were not rich, but I was able to get to where I am today. So they use me as an example. The girls, they always excited for me to be around, to just see that I'm a role model, that they can do the same or even better. So it's been a life-changing experience. So that's what we do. So we run projects in the rural areas. We try to empower women. At the moment, especially when the pandemic started, being at home, I couldn't travel to the Gambia. I'm thinking, what can I do to create a bigger impact? And the last few months has been a real eye-opener. We want to foolproof our women economically, in the rural areas. So what can we do? So as I said to you, Marie, I am getting ready to go to the Gambia, and we want to change the narrative. The aim is one village at a time. How can we make these women to be financially independent? In the Gambia, it's the women that are the main breadwinners. Like the men will be sitting at the banter bars drinking their attires, and and the women will be out on the farms. So we want to create these opportunities for them. And a good way of doing this, we have been having these discussions during the pandemic, is through adding value addition to agricultural products. And I have been talking to them, and everyone is just so super excited. It's a huge field, it's a huge undertaking, but we're looking onto women in other areas that have done this successfully. And they have become financially independent. They're sending their children to school. They are building homes for themselves. The opportunities are limitless. So that's one big project we're working on at the moment, and I'm really excited.
And again, it's that women showing the way to other women, being that role model for other women.
Absolutely. As I said, it's one village at a time. We start with one village, then we move on to the next. And the women that do the project first, like we have a village I marked to start this project, they are going to be role models for other women in other villages. They're going to achieve that financial independence, and it will be like, look at me, look what I have achieved, look what I have done from hard work and collaboration. So it's very exciting times.
I love that mantra, one village at a time. That's a fantastic way to look at it. So I just maybe throw this question out to the two of you, Justina and Betty. In terms of social enterprises themselves, how difficult or easy was it maybe to access supports for your social enterprise? What type of organizations did you turn to? Were they specifically for women? Were they specifically for social enterprise? or how or where did you get support, or did you get support? If any, I don't know who would like to take that one, maybe.
I'll go.
Nice, thanks.
Support is a very it's quite difficult, I must say, especially financial support. Other support like training, as I said earlier, collaborating with other women, helping, that it's not too bad. But financial support I find very, very difficult, especially from the West. What I have done, the route that we've decided to take is talking to other diasporans, especially Gambian diasporans. So what we do, we have this group, and any project we want to undertake, we put it to the group. And we have had amazing individuals. The response has been a lot better than we expected. So that's what we have been doing. We put our money together. It's all self-funded, as well as from friends and families in the diaspora. So we get our funds together and take on these projects, because there has been a lot of, I have gone through a lot of frustration in the past, especially trying to access funding in the West, because there's so much, as a woman and as a Black woman living in a developing country, these are all obstacles. Your credibility, you really have to build on that credibility, and it takes a lot. So we decided, as a group of Gambians that live in the diaspora, that we're going to do this. We're not going to sit back and wait for other people to give us the money to start this. We will do it ourselves. And we're hoping that as time goes on, we will be able to build that credibility to say, look, we can do this. We've had these funds and this is what we've done with it. And then that way we can get other people and other organizations on board. So that's the main area we're working on at the moment. We're just doing it ourselves.
Lovely. And that's interesting that you have to feel the need to take that on for yourselves. Because that was one of, as I say, from the surveys, that was one of the difficulties, not so much as we would have thought, but financial difficulties were a factor. And Justina, would you be similar? What experiences have you in terms of accessing support and training, etc.?
Betty, thank you first of all what you have just shared, because I value it highly, and I just made a few notes because you just inspired me in some way. So thank you so much for that. It's amazing when I think about the work you do and how important that work is. So for me, it's all the heart to you and to your group and network for doing so much for women. I feel very emotional hearing about it.
Thank you, Justin.
So it's amazing, and I'm very happy that I'm actually here with you today on this panel.
Thank you.
My work is very different because I would be looking into the integrating Polish and Irish people in Ireland. So I would be looking into through the cultural aspect, build bridges, build understanding between the two communities, build collaborations between the artists, and make sure that we get to know a bit more about each other, and living side by side, and as well living together, building new community. So, but in my experience as well as an entrepreneur outside of the Polish Arts Festival, I have been working with women, trying to bring them back to the work sector. So after a long time of either unemployment or providing childcare, so to access training for them and mentorship as well, and other resources to be able to go back to employment. So that's been amazing, the stories that has been there. But my experience with funding and with all of that is I believe training is widely accessible. So training is there if you know exactly what you're looking for. So I think you need to know what kind of a training you need and what is it that is required. So accessing training is not an issue at all. It's the matter of your drive and your interest, and specifically knowing what to do. And with funding, as Betty said, it's a matter of credibility. If you manage to build credibility, then you have more chances of securing funding. And at the beginning, it might be a very small amount from the organizations that are state organizations or big organizations. But once, it will build with time. And that needs a lot of energy, a lot of commitment just to get past a period of becoming credible. Because a lot of people just drop at the very start because they see how strenuous that is, how difficult that is, how demanding that is. And you must remember that we have our families, we have children, we have all the other aspects of life, and we have to support ourselves and the family. So a lot of people drop. So I suppose training for me would be the first thing to do. I think the training is the most important, because if you don't have the training, you might as well access all the money, but you wouldn't use it well. Oh. That's my opinion, You wouldn't know how to use it best. Or I think that's why I would be very much pro training in all different ways and aspects. Because if you equip women with this set of skills, then I do really believe that if you network well and if you have the community and the strategic partners behind you, the funding will come. It might take time, and definitely it takes a lot of time. But if I'm a strong believer that it all comes together, but you need to go from A to B, from C to D. And I understand the logic behind funding certain bodies and certain organizations. I do understand it. And if you understand it and you know where they are coming from, then it's easier for you to kind of strategically build that, for the organization. So, we are in a process, like Polish Arts Festival, it's in a process of a change. So I embrace that change and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm learning all the time. And I'm really eager to learn more on how to do things to make it work to the best of the potential, So that would be my bit.
Lovely. And I think that leads us on nicely then as well to our next section, which is on the training modules that have developed out of this research project. So I just like maybe conscious of time there that we finish up. So I just like maybe if to give you an opportunity, maybe in just 1 minute summation, what advice you might offer women especially women from an ethnic minority who might be thinking or starting out in a social enterprise. And because I'd say you probably have covered a lot of it there, but even just, I suppose, from yourselves, what kind of advice, 1 minute advice would you offer?
Should I go? Is that me? Right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Justina, for when you touched on training. I think that's vital. That's major, because as you said, if you don't have the training, even however much funding you have, you just wouldn't manage it right. So I think funding is vital. I would say to any person, any woman that wants to start a social enterprise, your why, you have to identify your why. That has to be big, because you have to realize it's not about making huge amounts of money. It's about creating a social impact. So identifying your why, because that why, the stronger your why is, the stronger you would be as a person, and the more you would be able to withstand challenges, because you will come across a lot of those. Being a woman, being Black, being, from a developing country, you will encounter a lot of challenges. And what's going to keep you going is the fact that your why is very strong. So that is it's really important. You really need to work on that. That would be my one. Thank you.
Lovely, Betty. Thank you so much for that. And Justina, if you'd like to.
Well, I couldn't agree more with Betty. Why is, I think, where you start. You know your why. Why are you doing this? Because every moment then you wake up and there is a huge challenge, or you don't feel like waking up at all. Once you have your why strong, you know why you're getting up, you know? So why is the most important thing. And don't do it, don't do it. Do it and try it. But make sure that whatever you do comes very deeply from your heart, that you're doing it because A, B, and C. And reach out to other people. Don't stay sheltered at home. Even in times of COVID, there's plenty of opportunities online. And, you know, I haven't trained more in the last year that, you know, it was the biggest training sessions I got. So reach out to other people, find your network, find people you are inspired by and reach out to them. You know, they're not really that far away. So then you can build on your why. And then you know why you're doing it, even if it is to meet that person that will inspire you to make sure that then you are able to go forward. And the social impact is very, very important. It's a social entrepreneurship. So you doing it for others as well. But if there is nothing there inside, I don't think people will buy from you, because they will know that you're selling something, and you don't want to sell. You want to inspire. You want to make a change. You want to impact other lives, as Betty said. It's huge. It depends what area you work on. So that would be probably me. And network and training. Don't be afraid of that. There's plenty of opportunities. Don't be afraid to ask. That's a recent one I have also got. If you need help, ask for help. Don't be afraid.
Lovely. Listen, thank you so much to both Justina and Betty for your contribution today. I think everyone can agree that both of your work is so inspiring in terms of how you're reaching out to other people, to other women, and how you're both, and you can see it so much, you're both following your passion. And I think when you follow your passion, it just radiates out from you, and it really helps to inspire the work and inspire others as well to engage with you. And I think that's one of the things that I'll take from it, and I know I've taken from the interviews I've conducted as well. It's just how inspiring women like yourselves are to follow your passion, but also, you know, you have 101 other things in life. You're, you know, the most important role of all, a mother as well. So there's so much going on in life, but yes, that you're able to see, as you said, there was a need maybe for the social impact, but in terms of the cultural integration, whether in terms of bettering women's life in the Gambia, etc., and that you're following that, and also then, not only that, but you're also inspiring women through this project as well, and disseminating your work and your ideas and your values. And that's such a huge appeal and huge value as well. So thank you so much again, not only for agreeing to do the interviews for the project, but also for agreeing to do presentations like this today. It really does mean so much to us and to other women as well, to hear your voices. And I think as well, we're seeing in the chat how you're inspiring others. Darren, for example, is saying, you know, that the passion is really coming. You can see the passion. And also Gillian was saying that how inspiring the presentations are, and that all entrepreneurs across all the sectors are actually sorry, I'm just distracted in the chat, across all sectors could learn from you. So thank you so much for contributing today. So thank you again to Justina and to Betty. So now I think we'll move on to the next section that we have, which is the section on the learning resources that were developed as a result of this project. So I'll just share the screen for a quick moment again on a few slides that we have on that. And I think my screen has frozen. Oh no, here we go. So the e-learning resources. So the modules, the 7 modules that were developed out of this project, and they offer both theoretical information, but also I think what is important is they offer useful links to digital tools, video clips, etc. And also then at the end of each module, there is a short quiz, so to check the acquired knowledge. And again, that quiz is, you're able to check and see the correct answer, etc. And also a list of practical exercises that will allow you to test some of the theory that was involved in the module. So there could be group work, pair work, etc. For these practical exercises. And I think both Justina and Betty, it was interesting to hear them both outlining how important training is for women. And so hopefully these modules will help with that training. And these modules are not just for the women, but also for organizations or educators who may be supporting women, or indeed supporting social enterprise or social entrepreneurs in general. So just to give you an idea of the modules involved, as I said, there's 7 modules, the introduction to social enterprise. So for example, the definition, objectives, etc. of a social enterprise. Then also starting your own business and looking at the skills involved, marketing and communication. And again, you saw how important that was, not only in the surveys, but also in the interviews. Running your own business, funding, how to finance your social enterprise, what kind of organizations do you go to at a European level, a national level, a local level, etc. Networking, and again, Justina and Betty spoke about that networking, how important it is, and in terms of not just building your social enterprise, but also building your own social skills and confidence as well. And sustainability then as well, you know, how to sustain your social enterprise to keep it moving forward, and also the important role of technology in sustainability. So again, these modules are developed directly as a result of the responses that we had in the survey. So this slide just shows you the links, some of the skills, etc., that were highlighted in the surveys, and how they link directly to the modules. So I'm just going to take you to the Moodle page. So just for this, let me just see, am I sharing can you see the page, the EMwoSE page?
No, it's not coming up yet.
Okay.
Do you want me to share it? I'm happy to take
Okay.
this part if you want.
Perfect. It mightn't be just working for me at the moment. So it's just EMwoSE.eu.
Second now.
And again, this website is live at the moment, so and these resources are freely available on the EMwoSE.eu website.
Just 1 second now.
Okay. And it was actually LIT that it's the LIT learning platform Moodle that is hosting these modules. And these modules then are available in the partner languages, so Greek, Turkish, Italian, Lithuanian, etc. So the 7 partner countries, the languages, the modules are in each of the 7 partner languages. Okay, so yeah.
Hopefully that's up there now. Yeah.
So if you go into the e-learning platform, and do you have are you logged in?
I'll just talk, I'll talk people through how to access it first, Marie. So if you've previously accessed the platform, you can just go to the e-learning platform and bring you straight in. If you're a new user, you can just go to the login page here. And so I've previously set up an account. And you'll see your dashboards here. I'm just going to sign out here just so you'll see the login page. So if you're new, you just need to click here, say I don't have an account. And then it's a very simple registration page that gives you access to the Moodle page. And so we just require this information so that you're automatically able to enroll in the course. And then you'll access the Moodle page. So when you complete your details here, you click register. It will then bring you to the next page where it will ask you to enroll in the EMwoSE page. There'll just be a button there that you'll see that you'll be able to access it. And excuse me, then you'll be brought to this space, which is our Moodle. So it's a learning management system. So you're seeing it as a student would see. Now you will see some other materials on the right hand side here, because I'm a super user. You'll see all of the other content we access here, but you'll just be seeing the EMwoSE content. So you can access the materials directly here on the left hand side through the links here, or simply scroll up and down. As Marie mentioned, the information is available in the partner languages from the different partners. So to change language, you simply go up to the top here. Unfortunately, not in Polish yet, Justina, but maybe in the future. And the content is organized in a number of different ways. So the first section is a kind of in inverted commas, kind of a lecture, which is a series of PowerPoint slides, which is kind of the theoretical content, findings from the work that have been done in the project, and other materials. And we'll take you through one of those in a minute. Then there's support activities. So again, this is to reinforce the learning for the user. So some practical activities that you can work through to understand, in this case, the introduction to social enterprise. Then there is a quiz. Again, so to test your learning, having completed the lecture resources and the practical exercise, a self-test where you can check that you've comprehended or understood the subject matter. And then typically in most of the modules, you will have additional reading for those that are particularly interested. So in the case of Ireland, there's additional resources, the Social Enterprise Toolkit and the current National Social Enterprise Policy in Ireland. Obviously in Lithuania, there will be other resources. And that model is followed throughout the various modules. So easy to access and simple, accessible resources that, as both Marie and myself mentioned, are open source and free to use. I think, did you want to dip into the networking one, Marie?
I suppose if you want to just as an example, Seamus, it's just to give a brief outlook on the networking, because it was mentioned quite a few times today, actually already, the importance of networking. So just to show you, the aim of the project will be at the beginning of each of the modules, and then the outline of the contents that will be involved in the module, and just a brief introduction to the module itself. So you can see here that this will be on networking. So just things like, what is a network, and the types of networks then on the next slide. And now these are all here, when you have it on PowerPoint, you obviously will be fast forward, clicking on each one, coming up individually. And then you can see that there's links to different articles as well on it. Yeah, so you can see it gives case studies as well. So examples of case studies here in Ireland of good networking in terms of social enterprises. So Ballyhara Development, a social enterprise here in Ireland. The challenges then of networks as well, and some of the barriers to it and how to overcome those barriers. And yeah, you can just how to join a network, and different types of networks to do how to network at an event, you know, the elevator pitch, etc. How to, and that's a quick activity then included on some of the slides as well. It's just to keep the students engaged. And so yeah, and different activities, etc., skills involved. So that's really just to give you a brief idea on what to expect in terms of the modules. So usually there'll be the theory, case studies, and some little activities and links to different articles or websites, also links to TED Talks, etc., on the topics as well. So it's very varied, and again, here you see an example from the interviews themselves. So Tulawani spoke about in her interview, so the link to that in the module as well. So you can see that it's very varying different types of resources. It appeals to varied different types of learners, etc. So again, very accessible for the woman if she's looking at this herself, and also if you're an educator or an organization who wants to give this course, it's very user-friendly as well. So that, and again, you can see a similar layout for the modules, references, etc. At the end. So that's really just a rundown of the module. So I think Seamus, will I start to share? If you stop sharing, then, and I'll go back to the just to finish off the PowerPoint that we had. And if there's any questions, please you can ask now. Because I think the next few slides were just, I had them done out just in case Moodle didn't work, which has happened to me before. So if there's any questions, please feel free to turn off the mic and ask them now, and we can discuss. So if there's anyone who wants to ask a question or make a comment. I know there's some commentary in the chat talking about the inspiring work of both Betty and Justina. So thank you for those comments. And if there's no questions right now, I might just talk about our other major social enterprise project that we have in the development unit at the moment, which is Social Bee. So Social Bee is looking at the skills gap and in terms of education at higher education institute and VET level. So it's looking to see where those gaps are and to develop modules then that can be used to enhance the sustainability and employability within the social enterprise sector. Because there are gaps in terms of training and education programs in looking at, especially in terms of sustainability and growth of social enterprises. So we're very much looking at that and seeing how we can address that through effective pedagogies for active learning, which are targeted at both undergraduate students but also people, social entrepreneurs themselves, or people who are in social enterprises themselves and who want to do additional training in the social enterprise area. So we're going to be developing 24 learning units around around social enterprise, especially in terms, as I said, of sustainability. We're looking at things again such as marketing, communication, networking, how to build a business, etc. And so these will be again available on an e-learning platform similar to EMwoSE, and it will just be an additional suite of resources to support both the individual learning, but also organizational training and network development. We have 8 partners involved in this project, and they're from Ireland, Italy, Greece, and Slovenia. And again, this is an Erasmus funded program, Skills Knowledge Alliance program. So I think, Seamus, do you want to say anything else on Social Bee or on any of the other activities that we have in the development unit?
Yeah, well, I suppose I might just say, whether it's Social Bee or EMwoSE or any of our activities, but particularly Social Bee and EMwoSE in this context of social enterprise, in that we're very focused on applied research. So really the resources that we've developed in EMwoSE in particular have been influenced and informed from the bottom up, from people like Betty and Justina and lots of other social enterprises and inspiring women from across Europe. So it's not the resources and the outcomes that we try to develop in the develop unit are not in the research space, they're in the development space. We want to help make a difference and make real change and support real change. So by giving Betty and Justina and others the platform to tell their stories, to inspire others, but then to create the resources that others can then use. Because it's all very well being inspired, but you have to have a pathway then to follow and resources. So that's part of what EMwoSE is doing. That's part of what Social Bee is doing. So that will also, that's developed from the ground up, from inputs from social enterprises, but then also from academics. So who will readily admit that they don't fully understand the evolving area of social enterprise. So we need to be able to empower and give our graduates from our business programs, our social care programs, our engineering programs, an understanding of social enterprise. So when they go out into the market, that they can consider creating jobs or applying for jobs in those areas. And that kind of, I suppose, an approach cuts across everything that we do. So our projects in the energy space are built from the bottom up, working with companies, with individuals, with communities, likewise in the climate change space and all our other areas. And it's part of LIT's remit. We are very much in the space of applied research and development. We try not to sit in our ivory towers of academia. We want to be in touch with the market. And Gillian on the enterprise and innovation space is very much in the same area as is Paddy in the research side. So, and we are in the process of an amalgamation with Athlone Institute of Technology to form a technological university. So we want to grow and do more of this. I think would be an important statement to make, that we see huge opportunity, and I think for local and regional development, social enterprise and enterprise development is critical. I don't know, Gillian, if you want to add anything from your side.
I mean, I'm totally inspired this morning, and we do like programs for very young students. We have an Empower program, and I'd love to invite some of the speakers here today during the summer to that. So there's impactful entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship, but then supporting that skill building for everybody and building the network. And just hearing what you guys were saying this morning to support each other is inspirational. It doesn't have to be a pity party, you know what I mean? You're strong people who have ambitions and a vision, and you just need support to develop the skills, you know, to meet people. And like any entrepreneur or somebody who has an idea to get it off the ground, you need a community. We always say it takes a community to really get something off the ground. So I think that you know, is something that is across all the sectors, and just the transferability as well. No matter what you do in life, if you've, you know, developed a social enterprise, those kind of core values that you have, but the process of that learning experience will transfer into so many different things that you do. So the resources that are available through this project and the other projects that the team mentioned are fantastic. And I'll definitely be onto you, Marie, to get more into that, and to just share more on the projects that we run as well. So we'd often run projects for, like, you know, the kind of the high potential startups and the tech entrepreneurs, but they do come in with a very with very aspirational, impactful ideas as well. So it can kind of tether across often, you know. So I thank you to everybody this morning for sharing, and yeah, look forward to continuing to support this and the entrepreneurs here as well. So.
Thank you, Gillian, for that. And again, that's true for anyone who thinks that they might have something to offer, or if they would like help or assistance in project work or in training, etc. To please think of us, because we're here to help. We can provide training, we can provide that support and education-wise for people. So to keep us in mind here in the development unit in LIT. So I think
can I just say something? Because I've been looking at that website, and I must say this is truly amazing website, and I think this is something that you could go on, and if I was starting my my journey, and if I had access to this, that would have been, you know, totally different. So I think it's amazing what you have put together, and it needs to be just spread as much as possible. So you know, a lot of ideas in my head now, how can we let people know about it in a way that, you know, will make them curious what is there, because it's just amazing what is available, you know, freely to everyone that
Yes.
the support. So I'm delighted to be a part of it and contribute in any way and form. And thank you so much for having me today, and for all your hard work you have put into that. Very important work. And what Seamus said, that it comes from the grassroots, it comes from the community, it comes from the people, and then adding on the research aspect of it and all your expertise is invaluable. I think it can change also the map, because as you said, the research previously was showing different findings, and now you're coming from a different perspective. So I think the work of the grassroots initiative and the lecturers together, it just makes a truer picture of the situation, rather than just from one perspective, which is very often very not leveled. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Justina. And again, we must be in contact soon then, because I'd love to hear your ideas on how to disseminate this work, because as Seamus mentioned at the start, we don't want our work to just sit on a shelf and, you know, project done and that's it. We want to be able to share this work. So if anybody has ideas, and Justina will definitely love to be in touch with you about ideas on how to disseminate this work. But just to conclude, there's lovely messages coming in. And again, talking Justina and Betty about the inspiring work that you do. Rosie, she had to leave early, but she's saying that great speakers and feeling inspired. And Danica is saying as well that thank you for running this inspiring webinar with great insights into social enterprise. Myself and Mida in this webinar also are working on a project in DCU on inspiring staff and students to engage with social enterprise and innovation. So a lot of overlap with our work and the work you're doing at LIT. That's fantastic, Danica. So maybe we could be in touch as well after this again, Danica and Mida, and see how our work could maybe, we could collaborate maybe as well on future projects, and also on how to disseminate the current projects. So thank you, Danica, for talking to us. And so then just maybe in conclusion,
I don't know, Danica, if you want to say anything about your work that you do, and just while you're there, it might be.
Yeah, I'll just mention it briefly. Thanks so much for organizing this event. Firstly, me and Mida have actually just kind of joined DCU recently, so we're getting into social entrepreneurship and innovation and learning more and more every day. So it's really nice to hear like examples of best practice from this project. Yeah, we're working on a project called From Passion to Action in DCU. So it's about embedding social innovation and entrepreneurship in DCU among staff and students. So first, we're kind of working on researching best practices for embedding social innovation and entrepreneurship in higher education. So we're kind of compiling different resources and tools that different faculties and members of staff can use to actually teach their students about social entrepreneurship within their fields. So for example, perhaps in education or health or engineering, anything really. So yeah, I think there's a lot of overlap with our project and your other one, Social B, I think. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to collaborate with you guys in the future and see where we could complement each other and help each other out with both of our projects.
Lovely, Donna. Thanks a million for that. And as you say, there's a lot of similarity there. So definitely something that we could hopefully work together in future as well. So thank you for that. And Chris as well, I think congrats to the team and to everyone who has spoken today and on social enterprise. He's getting the hashtags in there. Well done, Chris, from all in the Irish Social Enterprise Network. And it's lovely to have Chris here today from the Irish Social Enterprise Network. So Chris, if you want to, do you want to say something on the Social Enterprise Network? Please feel free.
Hey, no, hello everybody. I am delighted to be here today. Thank you so much for the invitation. And I know when Mario first talked about the project, it's been an incredible journey. Just everybody who's been inspiring today, congratulations. There's so much going on. I fully agree. I know that ourselves in the Irish Social Enterprise Network are delighted to be able to support in any way, shape or form. I know we run regular events that are helpful to startup. And so if we can be of assistance in any way in the bysocial.ie or in the Irish Social Enterprise Network at socent.ie, we want to support and continue to help out in any way, shape or form that we can, the existing work that's already done. Thanks to the National Social Enterprise Policy, there's so much more now than has been before. And so now is a huge opportunity and it's embodied by your stories here today. So congratulations. And if we can help out in any way, we're more than happy to do so.
Lovely. Thanks a million for that, Chris. Great to hear again, because to hear from the support services for social enterprises. So fantastic. And as you can see, there's lots of inspiring stories out there. So listen, a few thanks as well for today. I'd like to thank Yvonne and for helping with all the setting up of this event. I'd be lost without her, so thank you so much, Yvonne. And also Kate as well for all the work she has done on the e-learning platform, for setting up the modules on the e-learning platform. So thanks a million for that, Kate. And again, huge thanks as well to Seamus for all the support he has given social enterprise in the development unit, and for the continued support and help with that. And a major thank you to all the people who participated with the surveys, and also to the women I interviewed for the Storytelling Library. As I said, it was a fantastic project to be involved in with such inspiring women. And again, today, huge thank you to Betty and to Justina, who has, you've inspired so many people today, the two of you. So thank you so much, and continued best of luck with all that you do as well. And no doubt we'll be in touch again soon, and that we'll hear from you again. So I think that's it, Seamus. If you want.
No, just to say thanks very much everybody for coming. Thanks to Marie for all her work over the last 2 years on the project. It's been a very interesting process working with the different cultural aspects, political, social, economic aspects across all the different countries, and considering where social enterprises and the role of women from ethnic minorities in the development of social enterprise. So thanks, Marie, who's coordinated that whole project. So great to meet some new faces here today, and we do hope, please do connect with us, and we'd be delighted to follow up. And stay safe, everybody. Hopefully we'll be able to meet in person in the not too distant future. Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye bye.
Thanks a lot.
Well done.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.